In May 1999, cartoon giant Nickelodeon struck gold with the creation of SpongeBob SquarePants. The adventures of this yellow squared hero became one of the pillars of this cable television channel. But we can't think that everything about SpongeBob is perfect, right? Well, to demonstrate that, here are some animation errors that you can find in SpongeBob SquarePants. Number 1. KRUSTY TOWERS. Mr. Krabs' greed for money has been a recurring theme during the show's whole history. To empower his kingdom of power and wealth, he has gone through many plans, but what about turning the Krusty Krab into a hotel? Let's jump to the show's 4th season to analyze KRUSTY Towers. If seeing SpongeBob working as a hotel employee wasn't funny enough, this episode brings a lot of surprises with it. In the beginning of the episode, we see that much like any other day, both SpongeBob and Squidward walk to their work at the Krusty Krab. But much to their shock, Bikini Bottom's most famous restaurant has undergone a big transformation. Now say goodbye to the Krusty Krab and please welcome the hotel known as KRUSTY Towers. And here is where we can find our first errors. Let's take a look. This first one is more a semantic thing than anything, but maybe Mr. Krabs thought about building more than a tower when he decided to build this new empire, because even if it's named KRUSTY Towers in plural, we find that the building is only composed of one tower. This isn't anything more than a curiosity, but something funny to start with. Continuing with things that can be related to this building, when the draft of the tower was created, it was supposed to have 17 plants, but every time the tower is shown from the outside, it only has 12. But we found another little detail that we wanted to show you in this scene.
Bother you, but he got over it. Hooray!
Thanks, Squidward.
It's possible that you didn't notice anything strange at first, but when Squidward takes SpongeBob out of the toilet, his lips are painted black instead of the usual color. This was a great way to finish an awesome episode. Number 2. WIGSTRUCK. Halloween approaches, and it seems that SpongeBob also likes to use some special costumes, or in this case, special wigs. Let's take a look at WIGSTRUCK together. In this classic from season 4, SpongeBob finds a very cool wig that mysteriously falls onto his head after somebody throws it from inside a window. This new SpongeBob compliment gives the protagonist a breath of fresh air in terms of his attire, but much like always happens when SpongeBob is around, a little chaos is created from this situation too. But even wearing a cool and big wig couldn't hide the animation errors that this episode had, so time to see them.
Hold up, Squidward.
Mr. Krabs, I've served a lot of junk here, but a hair patty.
Maybe you were super distracted with SpongeBob's wig so that you didn't notice anything strange in this scene, but the truth is that we're able to find a very strange detail regarding the kitchen's window. If you look closely, in this scene when SpongeBob gives Squidward a Krabby Patty from the inside of the kitchen, the window is way smaller than what we usually see. Strange, right? Let's jump to the next one, shall we?
I'm to be strong.
Maybe SpongeBob saying goodbye to the wig is a very emotive and special moment, but did you see that something strange happened to Sandy? Well, this is not the first time we saw this, but in the final moments of the episode, Sandy doesn't have her tail. Sadly, SpongeBob's wig is not the only thing that gets lost in this episode. Number 3. Patty Caper. What would you do if the Krabby Patty's secret ingredient disappeared? This nearly apocalyptic scenario was shown in the episode Patty Caper. Right when the episode starts, Mr. Krabs calls SpongeBob to his office, where he tells SpongeBob that he has run low on the secret ingredient of the Krabby Patty's secret formula because of the recent lunch rush. However, he is expecting a delivery to refill it and tells him to retrieve it from a SWAT truck driver screwdriver, but threatens punishment if he loses it. Poor SpongeBob, he always gets tasked with the hardest missions. But even if this responsibility is only capable of being carried by a hero as big as SpongeBob, this won't be an easy task to complete. Now let's see what we were able to find.
My third place medallion.
I guess this means you didn't steal the secret ingredient.
In this scene, Patrick, Squidward, and SpongeBob are arguing about the possession of the mysterious briefcase that our main protagonist has. But this is not the strangest thing we found here. When Squidward tries to snatch the briefcase from Bob, the expression from SpongeBob's eyes overlap, making a really strange moment to discover and to look at. Just enjoy it. Before we leave this amazing episode, we also found another error in the closing moments of the adventure. If you look closely, there's a sign that spells galley grub, when actually this should be spelled G-A-L-L-E-Y grub. We're always looking for tiny little things, no matter the episode. Number 4, the splinter. Do you know how hurtful it is to get a splinter? Well, SpongeBob learned it the hard way during this episode. Everything turned wrong when SpongeBob accidentally trips on tartar sauce. Having the worst luck ever, his thumb drags across the wooden floor and rams into a small slab that breaks in half, giving him a splinter that immediately makes his thumb red and swollen. Even if SpongeBob tries to hide it, Squidward soon finds out about it and tricks SpongeBob. But what happens in that kitchen is really the main issue in this episode, because this is the place where we were able to find our first remarkable thing to show. Let's look at it.
2 Krabby Patties coming right up. Whoa.
Well, it seems like the kitchen changed its size pretty quickly on this one. As soon as SpongeBob realizes that his spatula got stuck in the ceiling of the kitchen, the camera pans out for a moment and boom! Suddenly, the kitchen looks enormous. What a funny detail this is. If this wasn't enough, let's take a look at this funny scene from the episode. When SpongeBob is grabbing his heart, something strange happens to his clothes. Take a look at his trousers and tell us what is missing. The belt is nowhere to be seen. Well, SpongeBob suffered a lot during this episode, so maybe it's time to jump into another one. Number 5, CHUM FRICASSE. Have you ever imagined what would happen if Squidward switches sides and starts to work at the Chum Bucket? In this episode, Squidward argues with Mr. Krabs about his capacity of running his own restaurant. This makes Squidward angry, and he says that if he started a restaurant, people would be waiting for years just to have a taste of his cooking. He even says that he would make the Chum Bucket famous. Well, this seemed right because he achieved it, only if it's for a short period of time. But let's forgive this and move out to what we're looking for: juicy animation errors.
Stop. My knowledge and intelligence could make even the Chum Bucket a success. Hey! Hey! Hey!
Well, this scene is right from the very start of the episode, but that doesn't mean that errors can't be found there. And of course, we were able to find one. When both SpongeBob and Squidward are walking away from the Krusty Krab, there's a moment where SpongeBob's legs are disjointed from his body. Maybe Plankton was spying on them, but we're not sure if he also noticed this. This is one of the saddest moments in the episode because poor SpongeBob, everyone is laughing at him. But hey, if you look closely at one of the fish in the background, you're able to find a glass of water that is magically floating. Well, this might sound strange, but Bikini Bottom for sure has some special drinks. So there you have it. These are some animation errors that you can find in SpongeBob SquarePants. Were you able to find all of them? Please tell us in the comments, leave a like on the video, and subscribe to our channel so we can find more secrets in SpongeBob SquarePants. Until the next time, goodbye!